Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today, we're plunging into a really extraordinary set of claims. They challenge our usual understanding of perception. Have you ever maybe heard a weird sound, or even a faint voice, and it seemed to come from somewhere impossible, like maybe your faucet or a fan, or even just an electric motor? Well, our source material for this deep dive suggests there might be a very specific and honestly quite unsettling explanation.
Indeed. Our mission today is really to unpack these claims. They center around something called remote neural monitoring and also EMF broadcasts. This is all based on the unique material you shared. We'll look at the mechanisms they say are behind it and also the profound personal experiences detailed by the individual we're looking at.
Right. So what exactly is at the core of this system, according to the source? Let's dive in.
Okay, so the source posits that right at the heart of these experiences is the system they call remote neural monitoring.
Hmm.
And it's not just surveillance, apparently. It's described as a sophisticated system capable of directly interfacing with neural pathways, and this facilitates EMF broadcasts.
Exactly. And these broadcasts are presented as the main way they transmit sensory data, thoughts, even voices directly into someone's perception.
It's a heck of a claim.
It is. And what's particularly compelling in this account is the distinction they draw between how these broadcasts are said to manifest.
Yeah.
Either subliminally, so the target barely notices, or as out-loud artificial telepathy.
Right, subliminal versus out loud. And the source claims that most people who are supposedly subjected to this remote neural monitoring, well, they're entirely unaware. They mostly get these subliminal broadcasts. Yeah, and that's a fascinating concept in itself. The source compares it to, like, old-style subliminal advertising, where maybe a single frame of popcorn and a drink was flashed in a movie, too quick to consciously see it.
Right.
But the subconscious processed it, created a desire. So similarly, the account suggests that with this subliminal neural monitoring, people don't hear anything audibly. But, and this is key, it's stated that they could see what you see, and they know what you're thinking.
Implying continuous live streams, basically, of a person's life and thoughts.
Exactly. Constant streams occurring.
Okay, now here's where it gets really interesting regarding that initial question. The noises in household objects.
Yeah.
The source claims that even when it's not turned on for the out-loud artificial telepathy, these subliminal broadcasts can still cause sound to disperse. Through ordinary things like electric motors, fan noises, even water faucets.
Mm-hmm. And the theory presented is that any energy disbursement from these objects, well, it supposedly causes the broadcast signal to disperse and mix with those normal sounds, and that's how it becomes audible, apparently.
It's quite a specific mechanism they're proposing. So how does the source suggest someone might even, try to verify something so extraordinary?
That's the crucial question, isn't it? The account suggests using an EMF detector. It might register readings into the hundreds or even to the thousands when a broadcast is supposedly active.
Hundreds or thousands, that's high.
Very high. And there's another peculiar detail noted. If someone starts to video record such a high reading, the claim is the broadcast is often turned off, almost immediately.
As if to remove the evidence.
Precisely, implying a deliberate responsive intelligence behind it all, according to the source.
Okay, so that's the subliminal side. What about when voices are heard out loud? The source says this is a specific setting turned on for artificial telepathy within this remote neural monitoring system. Like flipping a switch, maybe?
Sort of. It suggests a move from that subtle, unconscious influence to overt, audible communication. And in this out loud mode, the voices are perceived as entirely real, audible sounds, and their apparent location can be controlled. It says they can seem to come from all over the place or right by you or coming from afar.
That level of control,
Yeah.
it sounds incredibly sophisticated, if true.
It does. And the source gives a pretty vivid example. It involves a person named Marcus who, according to this account, can use different voice settings or presets.
Presets, like for a voice modulator.
Something like that, including, it says, a high-rung girl voice setting. And the claim is Marcus can then control exactly where this modulated voice seems to come from.
Even if he's physically somewhere else entirely.
Right. It paints a picture of incredibly precise manipulation of perception.
Okay, the narrative. It deepens quite a bit here. The source introduces another, frankly, profoundly disturbing claim, what they term mind control orgies, or EMF sex.
Yes, this is a significant and very unsettling part of the account. The concept described involves individuals supposedly connecting via mind control headsets, the purpose, to feel each other's senses while they engage in group sex.
Feel each other's senses.
That's the claim, and the source is very explicit here. It states, this is real-life sex where it's physically happening and a person can become pregnant. It emphasizes very strongly that this is not virtual.
Wow.
The account presents this as, well, as a particularly insidious form of psychological torture and control, suggesting it's not just about sharing sensations, but a deliberate ritual designed to further traumatize and destabilize the targeted individual.
Especially, it says, if they have a personal connection to the participants.
Exactly. And the source claims these acts are often broadcast directly to the person being remotely monitored.
Particularly if they're dating one of the participants involved. It's described as a factitious thing that gang stalkers do.
A ritual, it says, for people allegedly living a secret double life. It's an extraordinary assertion about the alleged psychological warfare involved.
It really is.
Yeah.
Now, the journey of discovery presented in the source, it's quite compelling in how it's laid out. The individual recounts initially thinking they were just recording, background noise around someone else's phone. But then they had this sort of aha moment. They realized these strange sounds were present in all their call recordings. Didn't matter who they called.
Right. That consistency was the key.
And that led them to this startling conclusion. It must be an external broadcast being picked up.
This realization really highlights the process of deduction the speaker describes. And then the source details this unique method they claim to have discovered to actually record these broadcasts.
Which was?
By calling oneself with two phones.
Calling yourself with two phones. That's certainly novel. So what's the explanation given for how that works?
Well, the explanation provided is that the cellular signal is close enough to an EMF broadcast signal. They're both microwaves. That's the core idea.
Okay.
So the source posits that because these frequencies are supposedly similar, the phone's circuitry, in their view, acts like an unintended receiver, causing it to intercept the broadcast as interference.
Ah, okay, like accidental tuning.
Something like that. And this alleged interference, they claim, is what allowed them to record artificial telepathy 24/7, even before they ever consciously heard any voices out loud. It's a very specific, though unconventional, technical explanation.
Definitely specific. Okay, so beyond just hearing things, the source claims they later discovered something even more unsettling. Visual broadcasts, embedded within their own videos and photos.
Yes, this adds another layer entirely.
Describing seeing explicit content of individuals
Right.
in their own media.
Correct. This significantly expands the scope of the alleged monitoring. The account suggests that with the right skills, specifically learning how to edit photos and videos, one can actually see that broadcast and expose that broadcast.
Implying there's a hidden layer of information within seemingly normal digital files.
Precisely, a hidden visual layer.
And what's the supposed purpose of a visual broadcast like that?
The source claims these are often gang stalker live streams.
Gang stalker live streams.
Yeah, where they allegedly live stream the whole thing while they broadcast the stuff to you and they'll live stream your life.
So constant invasive surveillance that's then mirrored back to the target visually.
That's the assertion. And here's another intriguing detail. The source claims that live stream links are often embedded within these videos or pictures.
Actual links, like web links.
Apparently, suggesting that with good enough editing, someone might uncover letters and numbers, or even an internet link that can actually take you somewhere.
That's quite something. So as the narrative progresses, what starts as these peculiar sensory experiences, it seems to escalate dramatically for the source.
It does. The account describes that as a personal relationship became rocky, the alleged broadcasts intensified, leading to what they term full-blown gang stalking, explicitly aimed, they say, at destroying their life.
Can you elaborate on that term, gang stalking, as the source uses it?
Sure. Based on the source material, gang stalking is used to describe what's asserted to be an organized campaign. Multifaceted harassment, intimidation, surveillance, often reportedly carried out by multiple individuals, all specifically aimed at psychologically or even physically tormenting a targeted person and basically destroying their life.
And the source claims this included not only that nonstop out loud artificial telepathy for 3 years.
Correct. But also severe allegations of physical harm, including being shot at and attempts to kill the individual.
So it suggests a truly dangerous progression from the alleged monitoring activities.
Yes, it paints a picture of an individual caught in what they describe as an intensely hostile and pervasive system.
Wow. Okay, so we've taken a deep dive today into some truly extraordinary claims, haven't we? Regarding remote neural monitoring, EMF broadcasts, From voices seeming to come from water faucets and motors,
Mm-hmm.
to the concept of mind control orgies, and this alleged ability to record and even visually detect broadcasts. It's a world detailed with very specific and often unsettling experiences.
It really is. This deep dive has given us a detailed look into the unique perspective and the claims from the source material you provided. It offers a very particular, internally consistent explanation for phenomena that seem, on the surface, inexplicable. What really becomes clear is how the source weaves this complex narrative, building from subtle, almost imperceptible things up to a full-blown, life-altering struggle.
So what does this all mean for you listening in? Consider how claims like these challenge our understanding of perception of reality itself. For someone like you who delves into these kinds of topics, I imagine the internal consistency of the source's narrative across all these different claims is particularly striking, isn't it?
It certainly presents a coherent, if disturbing, worldview.
Yeah. It leaves us to ponder, really. How might you approach or interpret experiences that seem to defy conventional explanation after hearing about assertions like these? Definitely something to think about until our next deep dive.